We've all been there. Our child is on the floor screaming, crying, yelling, maybe even hitting or pinching. We need to take a deep breath and we need to try to regulate. It's so hard though when we're maybe in the grocery store, at school, or at a friend's house. I get it. It is so tough. But one thing I wanted to talk about today is the calm approach to help you through these dysregulation states. Hi, my name is Angela. I'm an RDI consultant here at Awesome Match Autism Services. One of the things I feel very passionate about is how do we help parents through these overwhelming struggles when their child is completely dysregulated and having an overwhelm. Here at the clinic, as well as what I teach parents, is an approach called the calm approach. The calm approach has 3 steps. The first step is to regulate. The second step is to connect. And the third step is to reflect. So I'll break down each step for you as parents to kind of understand how this applies to your child. So like anything in life, the most important step in step 1 is to remain regulated. And I know how hard this can be for a lot of people, myself included. Sometimes our kids will trigger us, and it's really hard for us to stay regulated in those moments. So step 1, take the time, take the moment you need to take some deep breaths and try regulating yourself before you even attempt to work with your child. One of the best things we can do is to reduce our language or to go quiet, silent. This is important because our child may be in a fight, flight, freeze response, and their nervous system is quite dysregulated in this moment. We can't start talking at them, to them, because it literally will go through one ear and out the other. In these moments, it's very important that we reduce our language. We might give them an encouraging phrase like, I can see you're really struggling right now, or I can see this is a really hard moment. I'm gonna sit quietly here with you to help you through this. We also are gonna try to reduce and address the sensory input that's around us. So if we're in a room that there's a lot of people, or if the lights are really bright and there's loud music playing, maybe we can walk out of that room. We can turn down the volume. We can lower the lights. These things will help reduce the amount of sensory input, therefore making regulation a lot easier for the child. Now, this is the hardest part in step 1, is allowing them to feel their emotions, allowing them to feel what it is that they're feeling. I know as parents, our natural response is that we want to remove the sadness, remove the thing that is causing them, help them fix it. But these moments are important moments. Unfortunately, they do need to feel that emotion so that they understand and learn about that emotion, so that later, because you know they will feel that emotion again, they have tools that can help them through it. So I always think of it as we are trying to build our child's toolbox. Right now, they might have a few tools in there, but the more that they have these overwhelming situations and we jump in as parents to help them through it, we're giving them more tools. We're giving them the power to identify their emotion. We're giving them the power to come up with strategies so that next time they have these emotions, next time a situation happens, they have tools. They can go into their toolbox and grab that tool and use it in that situation to help them through it. Now, it is so important in this step that we don't redirect them or distract them. I know, again, it goes hand in hand with allowing them to feel their emotions. It's hard. It is very hard because we want, as I said, we want to make the sadness go away. We want to fix the problem. And sometimes if we distract them with something shiny over here, yeah, they're going to take interest in that. They may stop crying, but they're never actually processing what it is that they're feeling. They're never actually learning, how do I deal with these emotions? How do I learn from these emotions? So it's very important that we don't distract them, because we're essentially teaching them how to avoid those situations. In step 2, we want to connect with them. So in step 1, we want to regulate with them. In step 2, we want to connect with them. Now, we can only move on to step 2 when step 1 has been completed. So if a child is completely dysregulated and you sit with them for a bit, you're sitting, breathing, deep belly breath, box breathing, now you start to see that little bit of a glimmer. You can see that their brain has come back online. When they're in a dysregulated state, their brain has gone completely off. They're in their survival brain. So when their brain has come back online, it looks different for every child. Some children, you might see, a bit more regulated breathing. You might see that they're making more eye contact or looking to communicate more with you. A lot of parents have said they just kind of notice a bit in their body language how they just, and they're ready to kind of connect a bit more. So when you see that happening, we want to then use that as an opportunity to validate, address their feelings and validate their feelings. So for some kids, they don't know what the emotions they're feeling are. And so it's important that we can help them, give them the language they need so that they understand, just as it's another tool in their toolbox. We also want to validate their emotions because all emotions are valid. The behaviors that may come with the emotions may not be appropriate, but their emotions, their feelings are completely 100% valid. And we need to let them know that it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be sad or upset about, that these are natural emotions that they're feeling, and that's okay. What I like to do is I like to validate their feelings with 3 because statements. For example, a family I worked with, they had a situation where the child did something. He had a card that was in a packaging and it was supposed to stay tight in that packaging because it was a collector card, and he accidentally opened it, and that dysregulated him because he knew he was not supposed to be playing with the card, let alone opening the packaging. And so he immediately got quite overwhelmed by that. Dad also got quite overwhelmed and upset. Hey, you shouldn't have been playing with that. We need to protect that. And Mom was able to sit with the boy, deep breath with him, waiting for him to kind of regulate, take those deep breaths. And when she noticed that his brain was coming back online, she said, I get it. I understand that you were feeling sad, you were feeling disappointed in yourself because you knew you shouldn't have been playing with that. But because it was so special, it was such an exciting card, it was your special collectible card. And because doing this with Dad is such an important part of your time together. And because, you were so proud that you had this special card, you just wanted to be close to it. And he immediately was, agreeing. Yes, yeah, I'm so excited. I loved my card so much. I just wanted to be close to it. That validation put them on the same side. They were a team. That child knew that Mom understood what he was trying to say. In those moments, validation helps regulate our nervous system. So it's just another tool that we're able to do to help regulate and connect with our child. Finally, step 3. Step 3 is about reflecting on the situation. This is where the teaching kind of comes into play. Step 1 is to regulate. Step 2 is to connect. Now, step 3, this is where we want to provide them strategy or solution or alternative ways of doing something. We also really want to spotlight their resilience. When I say spotlight, we want to highlight. We want to really make literally has it sound. We want to spotlight. We want to put a spotlight on them to showcase that what they were able to do, that they were resilient and working through those emotions, those big, tough, heavy emotions. They were able to work through those emotions, and that they should feel proud that they were able to do that. Because that's a tough thing, to allow yourself to feel those emotions without getting distracted, without redirecting them, and to process those emotions. So now we want to showcase, like, you did this, you're doing this next time. And then in the next time, we want to tell them the strategies. So for example, with the family that has the little boy that opened up the card of package and the packaging, the next time strategies were really helpful for him. Mom says, okay, well, we know we're not supposed to be, playing around with this. So I think there's two things that we can maybe do to make this a little bit easier. One, why don't we put them up on display so that you can see all of them, but you don't need to necessarily touch them or play with them. The next strategy, well, maybe it's a hard plastic case. So we know the card is safe inside, but it's only held on by a magnet or whatever. So why don't we put tape around it? So that way it's secured inside the case and he can still hold it and look at it without the possibility of it opening and getting damaged. In these moments, it's also nice to use perspective sharing or emotional sharing. So we can say, I know it is so hard when we see that we have this special toy and we want to play with it. One time I had a card and I played with it and I damaged it. I ended up getting, a corner bent. And that card went from being really valuable to not being valuable at all because it was damaged. So this is why we are trying to eliminate that chance of damaging it. Now, I know for some families, it's, something silly as a card. For this family, it was an important part of their day or an important part of their life that they're doing this card collecting together. And so this was a good learning opportunity. Mom handled it very well. She was able to go through each steps with the boy, help him regulate, help him connect, or work together to connect, and then provide reflecting kind of solutions on what they could do for the next time. The more you do this, the easier it will get, as well as the child will start to understand that there's other perspectives here. He started to see, oh, I think Dad was upset because, I said I wouldn't touch the card and then I did. He's starting to see that other people have emotions too, which is totally fine. So to recap all 3 steps, when your child is having a dysregulating moment, we want to get down on their level. Their body's in fight, flight, or freeze, so we don't want to come across as intimidating or threatening. So we want to get down on their level. We want to reduce our volume. We want to make sure we're regulated. We want to connect, or we want to regulate with them. Remember, they use our regulation. Step 2 is we want to connect with them. So we're only going to do this once their brain has come back online. When their brain has started to come back online, we want to validate their emotions. We want to discuss what it is that they're feeling. We want to validate them with 3 because statements. And then finally, step 3 is reflect. We want to reflect on the situation, provide them with next time strategies. When they do come in a situation again, they have created this toolbox of tools and strategies that they can use. And eventually over time, they're going to be able to start using these strategies for similar situations, which starts that growth of dynamic intelligence. So I applaud you for sticking around, listening to me talk. I want you to try these next 3 steps when you are noticing your child is dysregulated. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I really want you to focus on regulate, connect, and then reflect. And just notice how they react. Are they regulating themselves more easily? Are they maybe finding that being just close to you while they're dysregulated is helping them regulate? I invite you to be curious about what is happening and drop me a comment below to see. Let me know, did this work for you? Is there something that you found, that a strategy that works well for your family maybe? Anyways, we'd love to hear more. It was nice chatting with you all today. Bye.